Adonal Foyle, not every NBA player can win the title like your former team, the Golden State Warriors, but every player can win the money game, right?
Yes, they can. And I think part of it is really understanding that this is like anything else. You have to work at it. It doesn't come naturally. You have to spend time being involved and paying attention to what you do with your money.
And you were in the NBA for 13 years. Can you elaborate on some of the causes as to why NBA players go bankrupt so soon after retiring?
I think part of it is that athletes try to kind of find that moment, that kind of live that moment when they have the great game, when they're in the limelight. The manner in which they choose to bring kids into the world is a big problem because I think people don't really know, but an athlete could pay anywhere from between $5,000 to $30,000 a month for child support for 18 years. So I think, you know, it's not necessarily a moral dilemma. It's just a question you have to really consider how you want to bring kids into the world and what is the best interest of that child.
And it's easy to scoff at athletes who blow through huge sums of money in such a short period of time, but a lot of them don't get a lot of guidance at home because they weren't raised with any money sense, right? Yeah,
I mean, if you just see this as just an athlete's problem, I think you're missing the bigger point. I mean, when you look at what's been happening in society in general, the New York Times had an article the other day bemoaning the fact that people, you know, over 50 doesn't really have a good financial background. So athletes, I think, come from those kind of environments. So you have to look at financing kind of the psychology, the sociological, and the historical context in which they make those kind of decisions.
And your background was different. You came from the Caribbean, you went to school up in Colgate, and your step-parents were professors. One of them an economics professor, right?
Right. My dad was an economics professor. But I think for me, besides the conversation that happened at the table, the thing that I remember was my dad gave me an allowance, and I had an allowance every month. And the big thing was I had to balance my checkbook. And if I was off, he took that money away from the bottom line. So every time I was off, if I was off $10, then I get $10 less. So, you know, I became very vigilant and really started watching, you know, where my money was going to be able to account for it. And I think those little steps, it's not huge steps. You just have to be involved. You have to be aware, and you have to pay attention.
One thing that I thought was very interesting about the book is that the NBA veterans, those who you think would know better and counsel the younger players as to having good money sense, that's not the case. They're not really giving them great advice, are they?
In many cases, no. And I think part of it is athletes come in and they don't realize that a veteran might have been in the league for 10 years. And his knowledge, if you don't ask like the right veterans, you're going to get the wrong message, you're going to get the wrong advice. So part of it, the athletes want to kind of live up. Some of those veterans were the hero when they were in college. So they try to kind of look at them, but they don't always ask the right question. They don't ask them how long it takes them to get the things that they have. And they try to imitate them right away, and that can spell disaster.
Now this week is the NBA draft. What advice would you give to one of the top draft choices right after they shake Adam Silver's hand? I think you were the number 8th pick in 1997. So what would you tell one of the lottery picks this year?
Don't buy the house yet. You're not going to get paid until probably November 15th. And don't take out any crazy loans. Don't buy 6 cars right away. And don't buy 20 houses because you have to really treat yourself as though you're not in the league. Really take the first year to learn the game. You know, find good people around you, and that's going to help you along the way.
All right. Thanks a lot for coming on, Adonal.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for watching The Street.